Okay, so in the last few videos, we moved some of our early test logic over to objects, but now it's time to add that to the GameWriter object, get things ready to work with. That's the main project I was putting together here was a way to interface these game engines, tools to make it easier to interface. So the next couple steps are going to be a lot of that, which is a whole bunch of file writing. So open a file and uh, write a bunch of words to it, in particular these Python scripts. So something to create a class, start a task, start a function. They're just kind of the method headers for those other ones. Uh, then in the interface stuff, um, eventually this will probably be accessed from a graphical user interface, but let's see, I don't need this in here yet. So I'll take that out. And to make sure I'm in the right working directory, I'm going to go ahead and run that. Okay, yeah, so now I know I'm in the right working directory. And it's a whole lot of file writing things. So create some folders, some quick ways to quick access to open our 2D and 3D editor, which is Inkscape and Blender. A quick way to open the script editor, which I guess I could change over to this IDE or whatever that ends up being. And then no access to the right game thing. So still kind of a start. The main tool that's underway so far is just writing the classes and um, throwing in, marking out some functions to go in them, which looks something like this. So if we come over to the interface stuff, we can go ahead and import this. And like I just said, eventually this will probably be put on a graphical user interface, probably a TK interface very soon to test with. So if I import that, then I can go ahead and set up these global variables for the project. So like project name equals, I'll just call it test1. Whoops, that wasn't the global one there. Interface stuff dot project name equals test1. And then interface stuff dot game mode. I'll just put that in as 2D for now. Don't have it far enough to get all the way to that where that's going to matter, but I'll put something there. Then interface stuff dot directory equals let's see, users Chris. Put in my documents in my delete folder. So that'll be the overall directory. Oh, then I'll add one more that matches the project name. That plus interface stuff dot project name. And now if we come over here to the delete folder, yeah, so there's nothing in the delete folder right now. So if I call this new project method, interface stuff dot new project, it added that folder in there, and we can see I have some other folders, but nothing in them yet. Then you can add this stuff from this game tools object. So if I import this, import game tools. I changed directory somewhere. I'm hit run to make sure I'm back in the right directory. Then import game tools. There we go. And from here, I can do things like start class, which has default module and name and everything. The only thing I'm going to add is the directory. Oh, actually, I'm going to add some attributes because if it just stubs out the init method, there won't be anything in it except for the self in parentheses, but then nothing to actually put in there. So those defaults are good. I'll just add some attributes. Attributes is an array of strings, so put in something called x, y, and z. Oh, and then the directory name. So directory is going to be the interface stuff directory plus I'll put this into the assets folder. Oh, then I gotta close the parentheses. Uh-oh. It looks like I forgot something. Oh, I forgot a comma. So scroll up and oh, the cursor went right to where the problem was. Add a comma, then hit enter. Whoops. Come down to the end and hit enter. There we go. So there wasn't an error message, so it should have added that. Then we can do some other stuff. So like start task, which does have to have a name in it. So I'll call it task 1. Module equals, the default for the class was my module. So I'll add it to that. My module. And then I'll pass in the directory. Directory is interface stuff dot directory plus the assets folder. And a typo again. That should be start task. Start task. Then hit enter. Okay, no error messages means it should be good. And I'll go ahead and add a function as well. Start function. I'll call it do stuff. Send in some parameters. Parameters are I, J, and K. Just because I already used X, Y, and Z. And the directory is interface stuff dot directory plus the assets folder. Oh, didn't get a typo that time. So then if we come over here to the delete folder here, up a couple layers. Oh, so here's my delete folder. Now in the assets, there's just my module. And we can see it generated this whole class thing. And then generated the task. But for some reason, the function is missing. Oh, I forgot to put the function into that module. I have no idea where that put it then. I guess I didn't get it without a typo yet, but still working on this interface. I just wanted to point it out. So somewhere in here, put module equals my module. Which this one might not want to run just yet. Oh, it did. So refresh that, and there's that function. So just kind of stubbing out some functions, a task to feed into the task manager for the Panda 3D stuff, or just a regular function if needed, and some classes. And then there's quite a bit to those, a bunch of if else things to tell if it's going into a class or if it's a new file, and a whole bunch of file writing things. Just some little tools to ease the work Still a work in progress, and I'll be putting these on GitHub soon. But part of the point of something like this is it's all things that I put the names on, so it'll make it a lot easier for me to work with. So sort of a personal thing, but it will be on GitHub soon once I get at least the first working draft going, which it looks like it's coming along very nicely. We can create the project and add a bunch of classes, files with classes and methods in them. So things that'll make this a lot easier, tools to make this a lot easier. So then when we add a script, so like all this stuff would be called with just, once I write an add script method to just attach a script to the game object, it'll start out with this to make it a whole lot easier to get it up and running. So a whole lot of the file writing things, which isn't really game development, so I'll work on that for a while, and then when we're back to, we'll probably do another pass afterwards to look at the additions, like putting the stuff into the game writer, which is still a whole lot of file writing things. And just like I did before, my preferred method is to just feed it into a bunch of lists and have a series of methods to fill out those lists. So the interface stuff will be mostly methods to fill out that list, and then it'll write the file. So a whole bunch of file writing stuff, and I'll be back to quickly go over that, and then we'll be back into game development stuff. So see you in the next video for that. I just thought I'd give a quick update here of what I'll be doing, but it's definitely a custom thing. Personalize it. That way you know exactly what to do, and you don't have to spend a bunch of time looking things up. That being said, I am going to put this on GitHub. I'm scavenging several open source projects for parts, so it's definitely going to be an open source thing, and will be on GitHub eventually. But yeah, when you do all this stuff yourself, you know exactly what it's called and things like that. But yeah, so I'm going to get to work on keep working on all this file writing stuff, and then we'll be back to go over game stuff in a coming video very soon. See you then.